So I am answering one of your questions, a member question today. One of our members, and he reached out to me and let me know that for him, when he tracks his food and when he is on his bike as his favorite form of movement, things go really well for him. We've been working together for a while. He's already lost 25 pounds. He has a desire to lose 20 more. And as part of his aligned vibration, tracking and being on his bike line up for him, but he's having trouble sticking to it. And so one of the things that I am walking him through and then also addressing here on the video is using the vision and goal setting worksheet, which I will also put in the comments. Most of you already have that. I have sent it out before, but for easy reference, I'll put it in the comments here as well. In the vision and goal setting worksheet, what we do is kind of work backwards. So a lot of people set their goals and they'll say, I'm going to ride my bike every day, or I'm going to track my food every day. Great, that's a great goal. But many, many people will have that as their goal, and then they'll say, for whatever reason, I don't reach it, or I don't follow through with it, or I don't stay consistent with it. And so the vision and goal setting worksheet is there for you to work backwards. And here's what that looks like. So his goal is so I'm looking at the vision and goal setting worksheet here. Like I said, you guys can download it. I'll put it there for you, and you can also look at it and it'll tell you how to go through this process. So at the top of the worksheet, you're going to put your vision. And so in this case, he's got a pretty clear specific goal. And so his vision would say, he would do two different worksheets, by the way. So his vision would say, I will ride my bike, let's call it 5 days a week. Let's call it 4 days a week. Okay. And then on the other sheet, he would say, I will track all of my food 4 days a week. Okay, so that's the vision, that's the goal, that's what we're trying to work towards. But then we want to evaluate and start to break down the barriers to making that goal a success. So the next set of blocks is called the success barriers. So you've got your vision up top, then you've got your success barriers. And I asked him to send me some information. What gets in the way of you tracking and riding your bike? Because you've said these are the two things that you know work for you. You've had some success, but you're having a hard time sticking to it. And he told me that he just gets out of the habit. But then I had him go a little bit more specific into, okay, well, what is it? What are the barriers to your success? So we're going to take the tracking for the purposes of today's video. We're going to take the tracking, okay? So on his vision, he's got, I'm going to track 4 days a week, okay? All of my food 4 days a week. Now, he may want to do 7, he may want to do 6. It doesn't matter. I'm just giving you an example. I will track all of my food 6 days a week, 6 days this week. But then on his success barriers, so just what it sounds like, what are the barriers to me doing that? His success barriers, he told me things like, it's a pain to look up non-typical foods. I forget to type in my meals and then don't remember what I ate. It's a hassle to count how many almonds or cherries I ate and what size portion is in ounces or cups, meaning measuring it is a hassle. I don't know what the chicken breast or the piece of steak weighs, so it's a hassle to sort of guess, right? Mainly, it seems like I just get out of the habit. Okay. So he's given me 3 or 4 success barriers. So what you would do in the vision and goal setting worksheet is you would put the success barrier in, and then you're going to set a goal specific to that success barrier. So for instance, his first success barrier is it's a pain to look up non-typical foods. And I'm going to jump ahead a little bit on this so that you can see how I put it together. He also says, I forget to type in my meals and then I don't remember what I ate. Okay, so let's take those 2 success barriers and let's kind of break them down, and they kind of relate to each other. So I'm going to put it in the same category here. So in your success barrier, he would put, I don't know the, actually the portion size is the next one, sorry. In his success barrier, he would put, I forget to type in my meals and I don't remember what I ate. So that's the barrier to his success. I forget to type in my meals, don't remember what I ate. And then another barrier to success would be it's a pain to look up non-typical foods. Those two things kind of go together. So in the success barrier, he would write down what's getting in his way. And then underneath that, he's going to start to write, well, what could I do to address this specific barrier? And you have room for a couple of SMART goals. So for instance, his success barrier is, I forget to type in what I ate, and then I forgot what I ate. So a SMART goal that would address that specific barrier would be something like, I will, on my phone, in the notes, just jot down, right? Type in, what did I eat? You don't have to look it up. You don't have to go into your app. You don't have to look at it. You just have to write down what you eat, or on a piece of paper, right? If you're eating at your, kitchen table, you have a piece of paper that just says, this is what I ate. And you do that for each meal. And then at some point during the day, you enter those things into, I think he's using MyFitnessPal, right? You enter those things into whatever program you're using. So that could be a specific goal addressing that barrier to your success. So what he's doing is trying to figure out the specific thing that addresses that barrier. Now, the bigger vision is, I'm going to track my meals. And notice how we're not going directly to track your meals. We're going to, what is getting in the way of you tracking your meals, right? And so now he is focusing on that specific barrier. Oh, I could write it down on a piece of paper. I could write it down on my notes app in my phone and then do it later, right? So I don't have to put all the pressure on myself to look everything up right now, okay? And then the way that barrier sort of addresses the other barrier, which was, let me just remind myself what it was. It's a pain to look up non-typical foods. Again, so you've got the foods written down, maybe it's on a piece of paper or maybe it's in your notes. And I'm going to do a little bit of challenging for him here of, is it really a pain to look up non-typical foods? Or is it just that at that time, when you are either pressed for time or you're trying to get to something else, that's not the time you want to kind of scroll through and see which food it is and kind of make your best guess as to what it is, right? So I want to get a little bit more specific and say, is it just that I need to set aside a specific amount of time for myself, that I'm willing to do the couple extra seconds that it takes to look up a non-typical food, right? So we want to sort of address the mentality there first of, is it really that much of a pain, or do I need to put it at a different place in my life where I have more space to address that issue, right? So his barrier, which is it's a pain to look up non-typical foods, we would set a SMART goal, which is, okay, I've written all my food down. The 10 minutes in the evening that I have after I'm done with the dishes is pretty open, and I end up scrolling my phone or watching TV. And instead, after I do the dishes, I'm going to spend 10 minutes looking up my food and entering it at that time, right? Or maybe it's in the morning while he's waiting for his morning coffee to brew or something like that. It's planning a specific time. When is it better in my life that I can take the few extra seconds that it takes to look up this non-typical food? Because let's be honest, if you are tracking your food and you're putting it into a MyFitnessPal or something like that, it's not really that much of a pain to look up a non-typical food. You just want to not be doing it at a time in your life where you need to be doing something else or where you need to be doing something quickly, right? You want to put it at a more appropriate time where you have either more space, more time, or more willingness to put that food in at that time, right? Okay. So you've got the vision. I want to track my food 5 days. You've got the barriers to your success, and you've got the SMART goals that are addressing each specific barrier. I'll go one more. He says it's a hassle to count how many almonds or cherries I ate. He's talking about portion sizes. It's a pain to do weighing and measuring for portion sizes. Now, again, I'm going to challenge a little bit. How can we make the weighing and measuring easier, right? So is the scale you need right there? Is the 4th cup measuring right there? Is everything you need right there for you so you can just pull it out, put it on, and really, is it a pain to weigh and measure when it's necessary? For instance, like almonds, you probably do want to weigh and measure those because a handful of almonds can mean 10 almonds or 30 almonds, depending on how big your hand is. And that's either 1 serving or 4 servings, right? And so at that point, it makes a difference for you. And so instead of describing it as it's a pain, we want to reframe that and say, what could I do to make this easier? That's one of the best tips that I can give you. Instead of reframing this as it's a pain, try saying, what could I do to make this easier? Do you need different measuring cups? Do they need to be at a different area in the kitchen? Do you need to have 3 scales that are at a certain place where you can just pop one in and say, oh, yep, that's around 4 ounces of chicken. I thought it was, 2, that kind of thing. So instead of getting caught up in this is a pain and I don't want to do this and it's so frustrating and it's so much work. Now remember, he said these things work for me, and they work for me so much that I've lost a significant amount of weight and I want to keep doing that. Why do I get myself off track? So this is him saying this is aligned for me. These are empowering tools, riding my bike and tracking, right? And so he, from that aligned place, now we're trying to make those aligned behaviors easier for him, so that he'll stay on track and do them. So that's why we're breaking it down by the goal, the success barrier, and then the SMART goal attached to each barrier to success. Okay. So for instance, for the, it's a hassle to know what portion size is, he would say, my goal is to, track my food. My success barrier is knowing the appropriate portion size. My SMART goal would be, I will put measuring cups and spoons in the drawer next to the fridge so it's easy for me to quick throw my food on there and weigh and measure it. I will make that easier for me. So hopefully that helps you all, and you can see that what we're doing with the vision and goal setting worksheet is that we're breaking down the goal as to the specifics of what is getting in the way of your success with that particular issue, right? What is getting in the way of your success with that goal? So we've got the vision, we've got the barriers to success, and we've got the SMART goal attached to each specific barrier. Let me know if you have questions about that. And how to use that goal sheet and why it's so important. I got a few links coming below for you in this video. Make sure you catch my webinar. Definitely join us in the shift. This is shaping up to be a great group. I can't wait to spend more time with you all in there. And also the vision and goal setting worksheet will be in here. Okay, friends, I will see you next week live.